I had gone into that week thinking I'm going to go to the summit and then I'm going to quit when I get back. I'm going to fundraise for St. Jude in May and then I'm going to quit because I just felt like I wasn't seeing any results and I was burnt out. I was tired. It was adding strain to my relationships. I legitimately haven't seen my IRL friends for years. I lost friends along the way because I was so serious about it.
Welcome to the Growth Rate podcast, where we dive into real streamer stories and find out what is behind the streamer. I'm your host, Patty, and I'm so excited about today's guest. She's a full-time content creator, a certified yapper, Just Dance legend, and she went viral for a typo, which we are absolutely going to talk about. Hi, Kelley. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Patty. Thanks for having me. What a nice intro.
I like to start our episodes asking about your origin story. What brought you to Twitch? Why did you start? What was your mindset back then? So tell us all about that.
Yeah, it's actually interesting because I didn't know Twitch existed prior to the pandemic. And had I known that it existed, I probably would have been on from its early inception, to be honest. But yeah, similar to most streamers nowadays, I joined when we were stuck at home. And when I first joined, it was to just join my friend's stream. I had a coworker at work, she was into gaming, and we were kind of like, oh, we should game together. And she's like, yeah, I'm starting streaming. And I'm like, what the heck is this? So I checked it out. I was on her streams a little bit. And then from there, a couple of her viewers were like, we want to see Kelley's perspective because we used to play Ark. And I would get so scared at the dinosaurs and I'd be screaming. So it actually started because of phasmophobia. So I pretty much said hey, if you co-stream this scary ghost game, I will start doing it. And that's kind of how it started.
That's a very interesting story because I found you through Just Dance, and maybe that's when you started growing more.
Yeah.
So I had no idea that you played all these other games before.
Yeah, it was intended to be variety at first because I was doing my research of okay, you could go into a niche or you could do variety, but at the time I didn't really have anything that I felt comfortable continuously streaming. So I just did whatever I wanted, and then over time it slowly grew because we, built the community off of my personality. That when Just Dance became something I fell in love with, it was just I already had a core group of people that supported me through it, because it was kind of hard for me to stream it to start because I was embarrassed about it.
Yeah, I totally see that. I only do Just Dance on celebration streams, and it's always at a goal, and then everybody is genuinely excited and asks for
Yeah.
the craziest songs, and I'm like, okay, it's just one day. I guess it's something that with practice you get desensitized to it, right?
Yeah, well, when I first started, I didn't tell people oh, this is something I want to continuously do. I was just kind of testing the waters. So I actually showed up in a sumo suit and streamed in a sumo suit, and I also had COVID. So it was just a mixed bag of everything, and I danced for 3 hours straight and I was totally fine, health wise, and thought to myself if I could do this while I'm sick, then maybe I can do this once a week. So kind of slowly transitioned into adding it to my schedule, and yeah, I haven't stopped streaming it since.
So now you're full time, right? But before you had a job while you were streaming?
Yeah, I was working full time in tech, so I think I probably put in a max of 6 to 9 hours a week. When I first started, it was 2 streams, and then I gradually increased it to 3. And then when I went full time, obviously I had to figure out what worked best for me. So now I do full time, which I'm very blessed and very grateful for.
How was that progression? Was it when you started making a certain amount of money that you knew you could transition?
So I was promoted to full-time streamer. Is what I like to tell people. I basically got let go at my job, and which was about last year, August 2025. So I had already been talking to my community about potentially taking the leap of faith. So when that happened, it was kind of like everybody who I told that I like lost my job, they were like, "Well, didn't you want to go full time anyways?" So it was kind of like a everyone around me was already encouraging me. And while I'm not making like a lot of money on stream, I do have a very supportive, partner who encouraged me to do it. And one thing that I will always talk about is like finances, like very transparently, because I just feel like it's not like a normal thing to talk about. So we've paid off of like most of our debt like a long time ago. So we were able to kind of like take like a risk to be like, let's try it for a year.
That's great. I feel like being transparent, it is something we don't really see. Like I see
Mm-hmm.
Catliente, she's like the
Yeah,
only bigger one that I
exactly.
see being super transparent about it. I did not know that you were like me. I was like
Really?
a web dev and I was also let go. I
Really? I'm
yeah.
so sorry, but wait, I've actually always wanted to be in web dev.
Okay, let's go back a little bit. When you started, then you had like those viewers from your friend. How was like growing in those early days?
It was very slow. I never really had the experience of explosive growth, contrary to popular belief that when you go viral, like everyone will just come. I really didn't want to grow that way because I didn't think it would be ever sustainable. So that's part of the reason why I never picked a niche early on. So it was kind of hard because I always knew that I wanted to kind of do this in a way. And when you're choosing something like variety, it's really difficult to grow. So it was kind of hard. So mentally it was like trying to cheer myself on and like trying to see the bigger picture and having like good people, supporting me with whatever I was trying to figure out, I think continued like to help me. But I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of hard. I tried a little bit of everything. I tried posting on TikTok 3 times a day for like a year. That burned me out. I've tried streaming different games. I've tried collaborating with all kinds of people and learning like who I vibe with and who I don't. So it was a mixed bag, but I would say like it was very rewarding to go through that because it makes me appreciate like what I've built now.
From all those things that you just said that you tried, which one would you say helped you grow the more?
It's gonna sound like cliche, but like networking, but like genuinely networking. I think that's something that I'm really proud of that like my corporate experience taught me is like how to be like intentional with like, connecting with people and like finding like-minded people and not doing it for the sake of like I want to grow, you grow. So if you're happy and if you support the person that you want to get to know, like it will in turn, I guess, reward you, whether it's through viewers or just like content opportunities or just like learning opportunities. So I think I've gotten to where I am now because I just love this industry and I love talking to people in the industry and I like to know like everyone does their stream differently and it's you can learn something new from anybody you talk to.
I totally agree. Also, with the networking, I feel like if you go with the intention of like gaining something with the
Hmm.
people you're going, I mean, there it's a different type of burnout because imagine you want to network with someone just because they're big but you don't really vibe with them. You're like
Hmm.
forcing yourself to watch these streams that you don't really enjoy. So yeah, if you want to network, find the people that you actually like watching.
Yeah, people can tell when it's not genuine, and people can tell if you're there just for the growth. And it's like, you can't get around that. So you might as well go find the people that you vibe with.
Yeah. So you've built something real in it, Just Dance, and you said it was because you already had like this core community, and now you kind of do more variety. I don't know if it's because of the like the time zone. I don't see you do as much Just Dance as you
No, I don't
used
stream
to.
it that much. It's not you.
How yeah, how did that transition happen? Did you get like tired of doing always Just Dance?
I think it was a business decision. So if you look at like my stream stats, you'll see like up until I went full time, I primarily focused on Just Dance because in my head I was like, well, I don't have a lot of time to give because I'm working this other job. So I kind of focused on Just Dance because I thought that was kind of expected from me. And I didn't have much wiggle room to really try anything else, anyways, because I had like 3 hours per stream, which really cuts a lot of opportunities what I could potentially try. So I never streamed games because of it, because it's you can't. I did it once. I tried to play Pokemon. I did like a Nuzlocke one time, and it took, no joke, 6 months to get through the entire game with my schedule because I was working and it just didn't have the time. So when I went full time, it gave me the opportunity to really reconsider, like, what do I want to do at this time? I realistically can't dance every day. That's going to be so exhausting. So I did it mainly because people are not going to watch if I dance for 5 days, and it would burn me out. And it kind of gave me the opportunity to test different things. And also, I'm like 32. So I don't know. I might like trip and like, throw out my back just because I'm old, like tomorrow. Like, you never know. So if I wanted to take this seriously, I thought to myself, like, I need to build something where I can play anything I want, so that if something happens to me, I know people will be there. So it was an intentional thing. So I only really stream it, like, honestly, like once a week, to be honest. Whereas like I used to stream it like 2 times a week. It was primarily my content back in the day. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Do people still see you as a Just Dance girl, or did the full time and the shift change that?
I think people think I'm variety now. It's really interesting. I didn't think it was going to take such a short time, but I think I had like the last couple months there was like a stint where, it was when my PC broke. My PC broke around like February of 2026, and it meant that I could only do really specific things. So I felt really bad that I couldn't dance, because at that point I thought like, oh, people kind of know me as the Just Dance girl. And that was the realization of like, people don't actually see me like that because they're still showing up. My numbers are doing fine. And they even like said to me, like, we think you're variety now. Like, you haven't danced in a month because you can't, but like, you don't need to stream this. And I also kind of noticed a shift too with the chat, where like Just Dance is interesting because you're dancing and you're also in between dances, you're talking. So it's kind of promoting like a lurky kind of vibe, which again is fine. But I started to feel like I was personally enjoying the non Just Dance streams because I could talk to people more, because I was either gaming or I was like chatting. And like I still like my Just Dance streams, but I started to like to prefer, the gaming over the over the dancing.
It's also less exhausting, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're sweaty. You're trying to do like temperature management of the room. I gotta move this out of the way, so it's a lot of effort. I wish more people could stream it, but it is like a really high barrier to entry type of content to stream.
It's like Beat Saber. On my old apartment, I had like half of my room with like green screen just
Mm-hmm.
for Beat Saber streams. It's so much.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you made me just like remember, like, I used to stream Just Dance with green screen.
With the
I don't know.
green screen.
Yeah, like I completely forgot about that because I kind of phased out of it. And I guess to people listening, when I first started, I was too shy to dance with just myself. So I would wear green clothes, and then chat would change the patterns through channel points, because that was like in my head, my way of like being able to create interactivity. And then like people wouldn't look at my body, they would look at the patterns. So I did that for like 2 years, and then I would say like recently I've been like, nah, I think I could do it now. I could just dance without it.
It was about that time I would see you like on TikTok. It was because I think
TikTok.
2023, I think, that's when I got into VR. And I feel like the Beat Saber
Ah.
community overlaps a little bit with the Just Dance. And
Mm-hmm,
that's when
mm-hmm.
I started seeing your videos.
Thank you, because that makes me feel like all those years of TikTok actually paid off in some way. Because now it's deleted. I don't have it anymore.
Really?
Yeah, I personally just feel like I'm like an old school content creator. Like, I know I'm only kind of like 5-ish years into it, but when I think about like what do I want to put out in the world and like my intentionality, I don't really want to be like a here's like 5 ways you could do this, blah blah blah, and it's like you need like a 5 second hook, and like I don't know, I'm not really into that short attention span kind of short form content, and TikTok made me feel that way, and I tried live streaming on TikTok too, and that was a whole other beast that I didn't like either because it's filled with children who don't understand that I just danced and now I'm sitting down breathing, and then they're like, why aren't you dancing?
Yeah.
It's very it's very short attention span. I didn't like that. So this year I just nuked it. I can't even log on anymore because the account doesn't exist. So
What did growth look like inside the Just Dance space, and then like when you were not doing only Just Dance? Do you feel like
yeah.
growing was like it was slower on one compared to the other?
I would say it's been pretty steady. I feel like I think of a couple moments in my content creation journey that have helped and created like a little spike. One of them was definitely focusing in Just Dance because, well, part of the reason why I did it, aside from like wanting to exercise, because I was like at my heaviest during the pandemic, and I was like in my little variety bubble. I wanted to be a part of the Just Dance community because there were women there. It's like, I'm sure, as you could probably relate, like I've always loved games as a young girl, but it was hard to find other women that liked gaming growing up, and we grew up in an age without social media, so you couldn't really connect easily with others, so you were influenced with whoever was around you. So when I kind of like was starting to get to know Twitch a little bit more, I stumbled upon Just Dance, and I was like, what do you mean there's women on this platform? What? They play games too? So I had like such a high motivation to like network and get to know the girls more because I just wanted to be friends with them, to be honest. So there was growth from that, because when they finally accepted me, and I got the invite to Center Stage, which is like the primary like Just Dance team on Twitch, I definitely did feel like there was a bump in support. So it was like my core community plus them for a bit. And then I think the second bump was I did a Just Dance workshop at TwitchCon 2023 with my pals Ariel M and Megan the Mamba. We did the first North America like Just Dance workshop. That was probably the second bump, because I think people were able to put like a face to a name, but also see like I was serious about it. But also people did come to it, so people online were excited to go and like celebrate, and it was like a communal thing, and then people in person who didn't know Just Dance were like, oh, this is really cool, like let me check this out. So I would say like those were the two big bumps, at least from Just Dance, that helped with the growth.
I always feel like when you focus on a game, you find a group, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of different types of communities, but the good ones, they support each other instead of seeing
Mm-hmm.
each other as competition, and
Exactly.
there's a lot like that. And I also find a lot of women nowadays in the retro section, and it's like a lot of
Ooh.
millennials as well, like around our age, because it's like remembering games from our childhood in retro. It's
Yeah.
really fun.
I love that. Yeah. It's tough though, because finding those communities is kind of hard to understand who's there to be like genuine and who's there just to, I don't know. You never know, but like cuz like anybody can make a Twitch team, but it really takes like a leader to like cultivate a good like community, and I think finding that is tough sometimes. So Just Dance, I got really lucky that the people in it are really good. It's small enough where there's like not really any drama, and we all know each other's names because we're small, but we do have, there's a downside to it. Just Dance is not a really big community, so it is like kind of dying right now. And it's hard for people to stream because it's physical.
Yeah, I see the same in like a Beat Saber. Beat Saber had like
Yeah.
a peak, and now it's like we still
Yeah.
know every creator that does Beat Saber, but it's just there's not that many people watching anymore.
Yeah. I don't know why they don't just make like a rhythm game category. Just like rope it all into one. Like
Yeah,
there's food and cooking, there's science and technology. Why can't we just have rhythm? Because we're all so niche that it would just be better if it was like roped in together, in my opinion.
I don't know who needs to hear that, but it's a great idea. So the typo that went viral, what actually happened there?
Yeah, that's my other big bump in growth there. So 2024 August, it was the summer I hit partner. That was a really big milestone. We did a charity stream, and one of the incentives I had was like if you donated like I don't remember how much it was, I guess $5. Yeah, I think if you donated like $5 or something, I would write your name on my body. So typical charity incentive thing. One of the things that I'm always going to advocate for is that if anybody's doing any charity streaming, at Twitch, at people, at brands, because they will see it, even if sometimes it doesn't come out from it. You never know, that one time it could happen. And I remember there being like some sort of call to action on the Twitch page being like, if you put like a hashtag something, I don't remember what it was, I think it was like Tiltify 10 or whatever in your title, like we'll try to, stop by and donate. So I did that, and then I tweeted them and added Twitch right before I went live. So I'm doing my own thing, and then I get a $50 dono from Twitch, and it's writing their name on my body 10 times. So I'm all flustered because the official account came in. It's a donation. I'm like, okay, let me write their name 10 times, and I was like, let me just put Twitch on my head. And I don't know if anyone's ever done this, but trying to write on your forehead, it's kind of
Yeah.
difficult, especially when you're like, you got like I don't have like a mirror,
You
so
have
I
to
was using
mirror
my
it.
phone. Yeah, and it is mirrored. So I missed the C and didn't realize that I did that. And it became viral and created a lot of chaos, but I'm really happy that it happened, because I think a lot of feedback I got from that moment was that like it was a genuine live stream fail, like a nostalgic old school live stream fail, and it just made people happy. So I did a little oopsie, but at least it made people happy. And we fundraised for charity.
Yeah, at least it was like, a Twitch fail moment, but a good one,
Yeah,
a fun
of
one.
course. Yeah, yeah.
In the field of like growing on Twitch, is there something that you were genuinely excited to try and totally flopped, or like the opposite, something that you did without thinking and
Ooh.
it actually paid off?
So the first thing that came to mind was IRL. So I've always been fascinated by IRL streamers because it's like, I don't know, it's tough. It's a really hard thing to do because you have to worry about so many things, but I didn't really want to be stuck at my desk at all times, and I also wanted the flexibility of streaming from outside the desktop area if I was traveling, so then I could keep up with my schedule. And it's like it's 2 hours of your time, you're on vacation. I kind of felt like that would be a really cool thing to do, just be like touch base with chat. So I learned how to do IRL back in 2024, but also a driving force for that was I fundraise for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital every May, and our Just Dance team gets invited to like a creator summit, like a couple weeks before the official kickoff of the month. So when I got invited that first year, I really wanted to host like a Just Dance like center stage stream. So obviously not having like my PC with me, I was like, I have to figure out how to do this. And like one of the challenging parts is like hotel Wi-Fi. Like I don't want people to join the stream because like knowing that I'm gonna have all these people, they're gonna bring all their audiences. It's gonna be like one of the first times that I'm gonna have a lot of people in my chat. I didn't want them to be like, we're disconnecting, like Twitch is down. So it was important for me to understand how to like keep it up. So that's kind of why I leaned into IRLs, just to kind of understand the technology for that. And I would say that's been a very, very positive thing for me. It was not a flop, and I still IRL stream and I still love it. And very happy and grateful that I have that as an option for a tool, because when my PC borked in February, I was able to leverage that knowledge to keep streams up while I was trying to troubleshoot like what was happening on, my streams. But for a flop, subathons. Surprisingly, subathons. Because back in January, I had this dumb idea where I was like, the stream doesn't end until I beat Ocarina of Time. And I was so pumped for it. I was like, oh, I'm going to keep the stream up. I know how to do this because of my IRL knowledge. I tried it. I felt like shit. I'm like, how do people do this? Like, you spend all your time on camera playing a game, and then you go to sleep, and then you wake up and you keep going. I felt so zombie like. And it was like, thank God I learned how to do this now in like January before like September season comes up, because I would have been like, there's no way that I can do a subathon. So it was like a really
Yeah.
small baby like attempt, and I learned very quickly like I hate this. Is not as fun as it looks. uh,
Yeah. I feel like ugh, subathons are really hard because you either find a way to do other things while you're still streaming, or
mhm.
all of your time goes to this. If you want to create other content, if you want to do other things, you can't.
Yeah, and if you have like a family, or you got other obligations, you can't do that. So it's like whenever I have to do long streams, like 12-hour streams, I have to like arrange like who's watching the dog, I have to, I want to hang out with my husband, it's like when am I going to spend time with him? So it's like I want to normalize healthier habits. Like subathons were cool back when it was like during the pandemic because we had nothing else to do, but it is not as glorified or cool as it sounds when you're actually executing it. You're just tired.
I see a lot of
Never doing
people
that.
doing it differently now, because
Mhm.
back in the day it was like 24 on 24 hours always
Mhm.
going. Nowadays I see people that, they do longer streams and they do stream every day or take like one day off per week so they can,
Mhm.
recharge a
Or
little.
they'll like end the stream and keep
Yeah, yeah.
going. I don't know. I just feel like you go big or go home. Like it's like you're either doing it the right way or you're just doing 2 12-hour streams. Like it's okay to market as like I'm going to be live for 24 hours this weekend, and then yeah, but don't call it a subathon in my opinion. Like
Yeah,
because it gets a
I
bit
see that.
confusing in my opinion, and I think part of the hype of a subathon is putting in the work and the effort of doing it that long. So
Hmm.
personally, I think it's a go big or go home thing. You could
Yeah,
call
I can
anything a
also.
celebration, like it doesn't
Yeah,
have to be a
exactly.
subathon. Like
It's also very taxing on the tech, having your computer
yeah.
being going like 24/7.
And honestly, like out of all my years of content creating, like for celebrating milestones and for fundraising for charity, a lot of the money, at least from my experience, happens in the beginning. It's a very like everything's hype at the when you start it, then it's like a plateau for like the honestly 80% of the length of the time. And then when you get close to the end, then it hypes up again. So it's like strategically, do you really want to be live like for days if you know you're getting like revenue in the beginning at the end? Like if anything, you should end it. You should
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
have a
Cut it
stop
short.
and end
So,
yeah, and that way you
yeah,
can like rest and do anything else.
let's take a little step back, because you talked about St. Jude's, and I feel like when I see you have like a big connection to this. Can you tell us a little bit how this it started? How's it been?
100% it was because of Just Dance, because I believe one of the very first videos I saw was little Siha, or Avery if you know her first name. She was fundraising for St. Jude, and again it was that revelation of like there's women, and then I was like, you can fundraise? What? So I was like baffled at the idea of like raising money on this platform, because to me I just was like I just thought it was a video game, like you play games. So um realizing that again made me want to be a part of that community, because I had not seen that yet at like such a team scale, because there's a lot of people who fundraise, but finding like-minded people that like continuously do it together, like that's kind of rare, I would say, especially like aligning with them. So I wanted to be a part of that. So I started fundraising by myself at first. And it was for a bunch of different causes, because you have to get invited to the team. It's not like an application. So I was like, well, I want them to notice me, and I want them to see I am a serious person who wants to be into Just Dance. And also, I do fundraise too. So I started charity fundraising like a year before I was on center stage. This was like a year vision in my head. It's like I got to start playing the game and I have to fundraise. So I did that. And then now I primarily only fundraise for St. Jude because it's exhausting to fundraise. If I had all the time in the world and, now that I'm full time, I have to rely on my finances. Like, I would charity stream, fundraise every time, but now I have to be really selective. So I like to throw all my effort at St. Jude because it's like once a year and I love it. They also are very respectful and they treat content creators like it doesn't matter whether you raised $1 or $10,000, they will appreciate you and they will, treat you no different. And I think out of all the charities I've worked with, they've been the very first to like not only talk to me, but they talk to everybody. They invite us out to their campus. I got to see the research that they do. I got to meet the staff. I got to hear from patients. So it felt very like personable than just like somebody cold emailing me being like, "Can you fundraise for this cause?" And I'm like, "I don't know who you are." Like, it's probably a good cause, but like you're asking a lot for just like something I really don't know. So I really do love St. Jude because they treat us very well, but it's also a really good cause because no family ever pays a dime. Treating kids with cancer, it's also a great mission as well, and they're not going to stop until it's everyone until it's cured.
Yeah, that's a really good reason, like as you describe yourself being like very transparent and honest, like having a
Mhm.
company that it also has these values. It's the
Mhm.
best way of doing it for sure. And you also
Absolutely.
touch on the point that the reason I would love to do charity as well, the reason I don't is because I can't, because I barely am barely able to afford living and paying my bills
Yeah.
with what I make. If I do charity streams, then all that is going, I mean, it would be for a good cause, but I also need to pay the bills.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, it's a a balance, and this is going to be the first year for me that I'm full time doing it, where so like the last couple years because I had a job, I just went like 100%, like every stream I fundraised, and I was very happy that I did that, but now I'm like, what do I do this time? So I think I'm going to be doing it like once a week just so that like it's a balance of like getting money for myself and then fundraising.
So you are a part of the group for, Just Dance. But I see like on your panels, you're also on the Twitch's Women's Guild. How did you get involved with that, and how has that helped you, or like the other way around, do you help others on the same guilds?
The Twitch Women's Guild, I think, was just they announced guild, I think in like 2023, and I was like, I want to be around more women, so I just applied. It's literally it. It's nothing magical about it. It's just I applied. And I got in. It's kind of selective, so it sucks. Like if anyone's listening and they want to join it, like it's chosen by Twitch and it's random. So I was just really quick to just apply. So as soon as like any post of anything, this is good like business advice. Most of the time when I see anything that is like a call to action, just apply immediately because then you're like one of the very first names at the top of the list. So I was in person when they made that announcement and I applied like literally in that second. So I've been in it for about 3 years, and I would say it also helped with the growth because the Twitch Women's Guild helped with the campaign of making the twit thing like an emote. So like the viral moment happened, but then it also turned into a campaign to make a global emote on Twitch, and a good chunk of that was because the Twitch Women's Guild was so hyped for me that we all like tried to campaign together. So I'm very grateful that a bunch of wonderful women on Twitch like believed in that and then we made it happen. So it was very cool.
Yeah, that's very interesting because I remember applying. I don't know if it was when it first came out, but nowadays, because I watch majority women as well, there's
Mm-hmm.
like a very specific amount of men that I follow, and most of them are all on the guild, and I'm like, how do they choose them? How did I get in?
It's random. It's chosen by Twitch. I feel bad because I wish I could give a better answer. It's not anything about knowing who you know. I mean, maybe you can network your way into knowing Twitch staff, but like most of the time they're like, it's not me. So I don't know who makes the decision.
Twitch being Twitch.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah.
doing a big zoom out now. You've done the corporate thing, the niche game thing, the viral moment. You do charity. You do a lot. When I was like writing your episode plan, I was like, we have too much to talk about.
Thank you.
What does success as a streamer look to you now? And is it different from when you started?
Yeah. I would say success to me is building many different pillars of content outside of streaming. So like I feel like I'm very confident in my ability to be an entertainer and a streamer. I've demonstrated that I can keep people in my stream. It's growing. I'm very very proud of that. But I really do believe that streaming is a very short-lived career because like anything could happen, you know. Just Dance could like make a tweet about something controversial and then everyone under that umbrella is screwed and then nobody wants to watch it anymore. Or like I might do something and get canceled, which I have made, unfortunately, two viral moments. One of them was Twith and the other one was not Twith, and that was a bad viral moment, and it was like, oh, I never want to wish this on anybody. So be careful what you tweet. But I feel like with that being said, you never know, like when you need to take a break, you never know when you can't be live. So my goal moving forward is to try to build up my offline social media platform. So when I made the leap to full time, I immediately opened a Patreon because the cut is better. So I started to encourage like my loyal like viewers like, hey, if you want to support me, downgrade your tier 3 and just pay for a Patreon like thing because I get 92% of your dollar. And even if I had the partner like plus point like level 2, that's only 70/30. So it's like I'd rather get 92% of your dollar. And there's no bullshit either. It's like Patreon's pretty straightforward with like its payment and like it's, you know, it's a very established platform. And they get more perks too because like you could set that. So I built that up and I offer exclusivity like through that platform, but I also started a YouTube channel where I play story-based games, and that again was kind of to support the variety arc of me, so that if I need to take a break, like I still have content going on because I can sit and play a video game offline. I might not be able to stream for 5 hours one day, but it's very easy to just yap and play a game for 2 hours and just put it up on YouTube. So I'm hoping that my vision will manifest into something bigger because that's what success is for me, is like I just have different avenues to focus on if like parts of my life, you know, need me to prioritize like other things.
The part of having the multiple income sources for anyone that freelances really is the most
Mhm.
important. But yeah, that's really nice. Taking care of yourself first and planning for the future is really nice.
Mhm.
Is there anything about building a community that you wished you knew when you started?
There's like two things that come to mind. One is like being really careful with who you choose to be like a moderator or like be at least like in a leadership position because they are a direct representation of you and they set the tone for the community. So like I've had like probably like one bad mod experience, and thankfully it was like when I was much smaller, and it was just like it was tough because I was friends with this person and it was causing kind of like a rift with my community because they didn't like him and he also didn't follow the rules. So I had to like put on like my bad cop hat on and be like, dude, you can't do that. And it was awkward because it's like it was my friend, but like he also like thought he could be above like my rules. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. So I had to like unmod him, and like I haven't talked to them since that. So I lost a friend over it. That was during a time where I was really small and people didn't understand I was that serious about streaming because like they were just like, whatever, you're just playing games online, you're just like a small person. I'm like, no, like I have a vision, and like you have to set that early on, like those boundaries and those foundations. And yeah, it's not big now, but you can't just like build that when you're big. Like it starts small and then it grows into that, which again comes back to why when the Twith thing happened, I feel like most people would probably be like capitalize on that. You know, you have a spotlight on you. So I chose to do the opposite And I did not go live that week because I knew it was going to be an influx of people in the community. And I wanted people who actually cared about me to funnel in, if like by just like clicking to my channel. Like I don't know how to explain this better, but like basically if I was live, they could come in and be like, "Oh my god, this moment happened." But I didn't think that would be beneficial to our community, so I stayed offline. So I stayed offline until it died down, and then anybody left over, I kind of was able to put together that like you followed me offline and came back like after it's died down. So now I feel like you actually care about us, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they
I
have that
just kind of went
extra
on a tangent.
curiosity.
Yeah, I just like totally went on a tangent. So uh mods, that was the first one. And the second thing I could think of that I've learned my lesson from is I overshare a lot. I really overshare so much of my life, and this has been a recent realization. I've been calling it a growing pain, where I've had to kind of reassess how much I share on my streams because there's a lot more people around, and I feel like sometimes things can just be said, offline, or it doesn't have to be said at all. And it's been challenging for me because I love to yap and I love to share everything, but I'm learning that not everything has to be shared because at the end of the day, like people are there to be entertained. So like, I don't know. I just feel like I don't want to keep answering the same things over and over again. So it's just like a lot of management. So
Yeah.
you don't have to share everything is basically what I'm learning.
Just think about if you worked in an office, would you say it to that group of people? I feel like it's
Mm-hmm.
pretty much the same.
Yeah. It's not even so much what I'm saying. It's also just like it's nobody's business sometimes because like I started to realize like if I overshared, people would really get curious, and then it kind of turned into something that was fixated on, and I'm like, we don't need to talk about this. I was just like a really random thought. So it's like I'm now trying to think ahead of like if I say this, what will happen, is this adding anything to the stream?
Yeah, it can also be very stressful. What about quitting? Have you ever thought this isn't for you? Like, not just a rough day or a week, like completely giving up?
Yeah, legit. April 2024. That was when I was at the St. Jude Summit for the first time. I was legitimately thinking of quitting. Like I had gone into that week thinking I'm going to go to the summit and then I'm going to quit when I get back. I'm going to fundraise for St. Jude in May and then I'm going to quit because I just felt like I wasn't seeing any results and I was burnt out. I was tired, things that people don't talk about with stuff like this. It was adding strain to my relationships, because I was putting so much time and effort into streaming, plus I was working. I legitimately haven't seen my like IRL friends for like years. I feel like I lost friends along the way because I was so serious about it that I really had a moment of like, is this really worth my time if people are leaving my life? So I actually was going to quit in April. And then when I went to the summit, they had a speaker there who he was sharing his journey, with St. Jude and everything. And he was just a very, very motivational and inspirational person. And basically saying that everyone has a purpose and your purpose is here. And like, we need you to inspire people. I'm gonna fucking cry. We need you to inspire people to keep going to fight for cancer and to like encourage them to like, donate or like to raise money. And like, that just changed my perspective on things because I just felt like I was so selfish going into it, being like, I'm not growing. I'm putting in all this effort. I'm not growing. That like, I was like, there are people literally dying and they need us to use our voices to like get the mission out. That I was like, okay, I'll keep going. And I went up to him afterwards and I like said thank you. Like I almost quit. And then like he hugged me and like told me all these really nice things about how I was, how I have a purpose and everything, and like I just cried. This stranger, I just cried in his arms. But like it's weird because after that I came back and then I hit partner like the month after. So it was just like a really strange time, but it was like sometimes you need to go down in order to go up. you know?
Yeah.
Like, I was
Imagine if you
really
had
gonna
quit.
quit.
You were
I
so
know.
close.
I was really close. And I told a couple people too. I was like, guys, when I get back, I'm just gonna stop streaming. And they're like, what the fuck? We had no clue. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm really tired. Like, I can't do it anymore. And then he just recreated my purpose. He just reaffirmed it. So I think about that a lot.
So if you had to say something to someone that was like in your situation, because you had that moment because you did the charity and whatnot, but there's a lot of people that don't do that. What would you say to someone that feels like stuck like that, like disappointed with a lack of growth?
I'm gonna cry again.
Yeah.
Basically, you don't know whose lives you've touched. I think as a creator, we get sometimes so boggled down by performance and comparison and analytics that like we forget that like we connect people with each other and we connect to people, and it's like you just really never know whose lives you're going to touch and how much you mean to them. Kind of sounds parasocial, but like there are plenty of times where I've had people come back and said, and like after like a break, and they're like, I had to take a break, but I just want to let you know that you really pushed me through like this moment of my life or something like that, or like you helped me during a really hard time, or like you gave me a lot of inspiration. um just Dance in particular was so surprising to find out that like a lot of people were encouraged to try it because they always wanted to, but they never had the push. But like seeing somebody do it like me for the first time, like they felt inspired to do it. So it's cheesy, but like you never know who's watching and whose lives you're touching. So even if you're feeling low, just think of that. And somebody, you're making somebody out there smile, no matter how big or
If
small
you
you are.
have some amount of viewers, they're there for
Yeah.
a reason. So
Mm-hmm.
you're doing
But and
something right.
they don't need to be talking, they could just be listening. They might not be able to talk, they might only be able to listen. So don't ever, I guess, write off like lurkers, because they are there, and you are making a difference.
Okay, before I make you cry more.
I'm gonna cry. Yeah, I've been feeling it.
Is there something that you think we didn't touch that you would like our listeners to know?
Yeah, actually, I want to go back to the Twith moment, of like when it went viral. So like a lot of people think that virality is luck, and I do think it is luck, but I think it's luck plus knowing like when to jump onto something, like being prepared. So the viral moment didn't just happen because the clip happened and then everyone started talking about it. The viral moment happened because I recognized it as an opportunity to be a viral moment. So I took the clip, and then based off of my analytics on Twitter, which at the time was available for everybody, I was able to be like, okay, the most active times that people are, looking at my posts are between these time frames. So I took the clip and then I basically marketed it intentionally to be like in a way that people would find it easy to read, then they can access it, and then they can share it. So that all was like my creation. It sounds so like conceited, but like I think it's tough to explain to people that virality can be curated. So that whole weekend, like that was what the clip, like people were talking about the clip, and that only happened because I decided to tweet it at an optimal time. And I hate to say this, I paid for Twitter Blue. So not only did I have an extra boost, it was just like I've done that in certain times to be like, I know this is a banger thing. I'm going to boost it. So use that to your advantage if you want to grow. It is totally okay to do that, but you cannot sit there and expect it to happen for you. No one is going to do that for you. Like, you need to know when to take advantage of something and when to recognize something is going to be like a blow up moment. And sometimes it won't be, but at least you tried. Like, you at least tried to make it happen. And that was a moment where I was like, I know this is going to be something that people are going to talk about. So that's one thing I like to share, because a lot of people just think it just happened, like, and I did nothing.
Yeah, it's always like being able to recognize when something has the potential to be viral and try
Hmm.
to use it as best you can to put it in front of as many people you can and see
Exactly,
if it
yeah.
grows from there.
And it doesn't have to be a viral moment. You can still have a lot of impressions with this method. It's virality probably is one of the more rare things that could come from it, because it is hard to, mimic something that grand. Like, And that's where clip farmers come and, people are faking the content. So that moment just felt like this is a really true, genuine viral moment that I feel like I should try to push. But the method works for anything, honestly. So it's probably my last bit of content advice that I want to share with people.
This was great. I love this conversation. A lot of very varied and good
Yee.
insights.
Move by so
So,
fast.
why don't you tell our listeners where they can find you?
Okay. So again, I'm HeroKerrey, or Kelley. I am on Twitch as HeroKerrey. Actually, everywhere is HeroKerrey, except on YouTube. You can find me as Kerrey Plays, where I play first time blind playthroughs of story-based games. And I stream 5 times a week. So come on by.
One last question that I ask everyone. If I could have any streamer on the podcast, who would you like to see having a conversation like this?
Ooh, oh, it's a great one. I feel like it'd be cool to ask the Dynamite Twins. They are IRL streamers from New York. They helped shape a lot of my business sense because they are very brilliant, but also they're like IRL wizards. So it would be really interesting to hear from them because they're not specifically gaming. So you get another perspective of what it's like to be a content creator on Twitch.
They're super fun. This is very interesting because you, a gamer, recommended me an IRL streamer, and the IRL streamer that I had recommended me a game streamer.
Wait, that's so funny. Well, that's good though, because in my opinion, I guess one question that didn't get touched is how do you avoid burnout, or how do you overcome burnout? And I usually tell people, go outside your niche, go outside whatever you're consuming and go find somebody that you just wouldn't have watched, or you're not normally used to, and just learn from them, because I think it helps you see different perspectives and you can learn something different, outside your normal niche.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. You're right, it just went super fast.
Yeah, I'm glad. Thanks for having me.
And thank you to all our listeners at home. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to give us a follow. Follows are free. You can find the growth rate wherever pods are cast. We'll see you again next week. Bye. The Growth Rate was created, hosted, edited, and produced by me. If you like the show, feel free to rate it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That really helps a lot. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you would like to listen ad-free and see all of this episode's bloopers, join us on Patreon at patreon.com/thegrowthrate. We also have a Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram at The Growth Rate. And if you know a streamer that would have an amazing story to share, leave your recommendation in the comments.